Start with a major development in Oregon's legal action to try and stop the deployment of 200 National Guard troops to Portland.
Fox 12 investigative reporter Adrian Thomas joins us now live with the update. Adrian?
All right. Well, Pete, Nora, much has happened today ahead of oral arguments scheduled Friday in a Portland federal courtroom. In this case, the U.S. Department of Justice has issued its official response to the lawsuit, and this case also now has a new judge that will preside over it, because in this motion just filed in federal court this morning, the DOJ said the federal judge initially assigned to the case may have a conflict of interest. Well, first, let's start with the government's response to Oregon's lawsuit. U.S. DOJ officials cited the various times protesters have clashed with federal law enforcement at the South Waterfront ICE facility from this summer up until recent days. The government stated that Federal Protective Services cannot fully protect the ICE facility on its own and has required to seek protection from Homeland Security Investigations Portland Special Response Team, which the DOJ says takes those law enforcement officers away from their day-to-day missions. Now, the filing from the government also claims that federal law enforcement has tried to contact PPB for help at the ICE facility, but said PPB were, quote, unhelpful. All examples are reasons why the government says having National Guard assistance is necessary. Now, a separate court filing from the DOJ caused the initial judge, Michael Simon, to recuse himself from this case because the federal government pointed out that Judge Simon is married to Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici, who represents Portland. Here's how that played out. The lawsuit was filed by Oregon and the city of Portland at the beginning of this week, after President Trump announced over the weekend National Guard troops would be deployed to Portland to protect the ICE facility on the South Waterfront, as well as other federal property. In the filing, U.S. DOJ officials said the government suggests that Judge Michael H. Simon recuse himself from this case to avoid the appearance of partiality, because one of the members representing plaintiff the city of Portland and Judge Simon's spouse, Representative Suzanne Bonamici, has interfaced in her official capacity with each defendant on the subject of this suit. The defendants being President Donald Trump and other top administration officials. The filing also referenced this press conference from this past Saturday, where Congresswoman Bonamici joined Governor Tina Kotek and voiced her opinion on National Guard deployment.
We do not need and we do not want federal troops here in Oregon. This is a gross abuse of power by the president. He does not have the authority to send military troops to a city.
The filing by the DOJ states that while the government recognizes Bonamici and her husband, Judge Simon, speak for themselves, the political role that Bonamici has played in opposing the Trump administration's actions in Portland may create the appearance of the judge being partial to his wife's political stances.
And I tell you, I am in Portland a lot. I was at the ICE facility a couple of days ago. I was in Portland yesterday on the east side for a meeting and last night for an event. Nowhere did I see one single indication that we need military troops here. Sending military troops here will only make it dangerous, not just for people in Portland, but for the entire region.
In an order that just came down this afternoon, recusing himself, Judge Michael Simon said, quote, although the court does not believe that recusal is required under either federal law or the Code of Conduct for United States judges, because it's necessary that the focus of this lawsuit remain on the critically important constitutional and statutory issues presented by the parties, the undersigned U.S. District Judge hereby recuses himself. Now, we also reached out to Congresswoman Bonamici's office for comment, and her communications director told us she will not be commenting on this matter. Arguments are supposed to be heard tomorrow morning in federal court in Portland at 10 a.m. in front of the new judge, Judge Karen Immergut. She was nominated to the federal bench in 2019 by President Trump. Live in studio, Adrian Thomas, Fox 12 Oregon.
Adrian, great job covering all that. Thank you.